Game week excitement. Obviously, we've been preparing a long time for this opportunity to come back in 2024 and open up against Kent State team from the Mid-American Conference. I think our team is excited to hit somebody else. They've been hitting each other and competing against each other for a long time against themselves. I think these openers. Sometimes you can worry about the opponent. I told the guys yesterday, I don't care if we're playing Georgia or playing Kent State. The focus has to be on what we do. It doesn't come down to what they do. I told them yesterday after practice again. It's what we do as a football player, as a team, as a unit, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So to me, that's the critical thing: is focus on us. Don't worry about the opponent. If we go out there and play the game we're supposed to play, I think we'll walk off the field happy. As you guys probably got the first updated depth chart whenever you got it. You see, there's a lot of guys that we think are starters on that football team. We got a lot of guys that are going to get an opportunity to go out there and either start or be considered a starter. So we feel like we got a lot of those. Obviously, that quarterback position is one that you guys probably take great interest in, probably more than I do. I didn't know who it is, but we feel like Nate and Eli both are guys that we consider starters. So those two have competed their tails off all camp. And we'll go out there and go. I think the starter will be determined how we practice this week. We got practice in yesterday, so we'll see how they practice, how they pick up the game plan. But the plan right now, is to play both those guys on Saturday and let the competition begin. On the field. It's one of those that I think is too close to just say, hey, this is what it is. Let's take a chance at it. I think both of them are very capable. I think they both are guys that can win football games for us, and I'm excited to watch both of them play. If you guys recall, back in 2015, we did it. My first year here, with Chad Wojtek and Nathan Peterman. We got into game 3, I believe, and it was over at that point. I wish I'd have made that decision to pick a starter quicker than that. But we're going to let it ride. Again, I feel great with both those guys. I think we got two conscientious, smart, intelligent, athletic quarterbacks, and that's where we go there. Obviously, Kent State, Kenny Burns going in his second year at Kent. A guy that spent a lot of time with PJ Fleck at Minnesota. He's an old running back guy. He's an offensive coach. He likes his run game. He's got a new offensive coordinator who was the tight ends coach a year ago, who came from Charlotte. So we've put on a lot of Charlotte tape as well as Kent State personnel tape and watching what they're doing. So you're preparing for Kent State stuff, preparing for Charlotte, typical opener. They got a new defense coordinator. I think they got a new defense coordinator halfway through the spring. Cody Morgan is their new defense coordinator. He's a guy that was a safeties coach and a special teams coordinator a year ago. So really, when you think about guys calling the offense, Carney and Morgan both will be calling their first game as coordinators, so it's a little bit hard to kind of know what you're going to get either way. That's why it's even more important that the focus comes on us. It doesn't matter what they give us. We have to just go out and execute. If it's a run, execute the run. If we're going to blitz them, then let's be really good at the blitz and keep things as simple as possible. Let our guys play hard, play fast. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Sean Fitzsimmons isn't listed on the depth chart. Is he out?
He is not out. Maybe a little bit banged up, but Sean would be on the depth chart. But I probably should have put another or next to him. Amanda, thanks for letting me know about that one. Mike could work on that one. So, yeah, Sean's been banged up. I'm not going to get into talking about injuries. But he's been banged up a little bit, and we hope to have him back real soon.
That have the classic monikers of football.
And maybe even this week. You never know.
One of the classic sayings in football, we'll talk about quarterbacks, is that you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. How do these two guys beat that? What have they shown you in camp that both these guys are ready to go?
Last year at this point, I didn't feel like we had two quarterbacks. Okay, I'll start there. Felt like we had one quarterback, and I thought, I feel so much better about where that is. But, you can take slogans and, those terms, Chris, we'll find out on the 31st, right? I mean, I believe we have two really good quarterbacks. I really do. They're both, and again, Nate was, the starter coming out of, spring ball, as we've talked through camp. And Eli made some major improvements. I mean, it's like he caught up, and there was some competition going on. And I feel like to say, one guy's going to get that opportunity to take the first snap, but to say, at that position, at the quarterback position, that, hey, it's all about practice, because you know what, you get used to playing against one defense and one coverage or whatever it may be. That doesn't mean you're the best quarterback. So to me, that thing needs to be, put over into a game-like situation and let it go from there. Just like a lot of those positions. I don't care if you talk about the defensive end or D tackles. I mean, I got, Nakai Johnson, Nick James, Isaiah. I mean, shoot, there's a lot of guys up there that, there's, that whole D-line. I mean, Elliot Donald, I mean, who's a starter? Every week there's going to be a different starter there. I almost bet my life that every week is going to be a different. Who played well the last week? They're going to get that chance in the beginning of the week. You could be an all-conference player if you don't come out and practice the next week. You're probably a backup if you can't get the checks and you come out there and slop around and practice thinking you just can show up. So, it doesn't matter what position. If we got 5 D tackles, then do we not have any? I think it's the same thing. I really love our quarterback situation right now, and I feel like we're in a good position. And someone's going to have to prepare for 2 of them because they're both going to play.
Pat, are there skill sets complementary?
Where you been? It's good to have you back.
In Paris, that's okay.
All right.
It's all right.
You have a croissant over there or what?
I had many croissants.
Beautiful.
But are there skill sets? Are Eli and Nate's skill sets complementary? I mean, do they bring different things to the offense?
You know what? The offense is not going to change that much based on who they are, but they're very similar in what they can do. I mean, like I said, I start off, they can operate and manage the offense. That's the first thing. I mean, it's not like one's going to be slower than the other. They can both operate it at a fast tempo, we'll find out what skills come out there on game day, and who's got those intangibles on game day, and who's going to bring us the best package.
We had a comment a minute ago. Kent State not knowing this meeting could have been a quarterback. Is that important to you? Because the other team?
Not really. Not really. Sometimes in different positions, but not for that one. That's not the reason. I can guarantee you that. Because they're preparing for both of them. Even though they probably don't have much tape on Eli, they're preparing for both of them anyway, probably. And just like we're preparing for 2 of their quarterbacks.
So Pat, you're saying that both guys will play Saturday. Do you guys have certain packages for one another? There are certain things that both do well in different ways?
No, the same package. To Will's question, really, it's the same thing. Like it's not like we can't run this with him. We just to do this. Now I can tell you this. Coach Bell he'll sit down with both those guys and say, hey, what do you like? What do you like? They each have things they like better, but they can operate and do everything the same. It's not like he's going to have to change, but instead of Nate's favorite play may be this, and Eli's is this, but they're all in the favorites. They've all practiced everything that we're going to have in the game plan.
Are you ready to settle this battle after Kent State week, or are you comfortable rotating them into the Cincinnati week?
You know what? I'd like to do what comes out. Whatever happens. I mean, I think we maybe can all be sitting in that press conference room after the game, going, okay, it looks like that guy, right? I mean, we could all have our opinions. I'd like to know as soon as possible. I don't want to drag it on. I want to get it done as soon as I possibly can.
So you're trying to judge the 2 quarterbacks. You're also trying to break into new offense. Do all these things make you maybe less likely to hold big chunks of the offense back like you've done in the past in these season openers?
No, not, when you say that, I've never held anything back. Again, I've never called an offensive play, but I've never held anything back in an opener. We're not holding back. We're going to play football. We're going to win a football game. Kent will not be coming in here. They'll play their best game of the year. I can promise you that. They will come in here cranked up, 2 hours down the road, and they will play their best game of the season.
Has Nate shown a similar level of mobility to Eli?
You know what? At times, yeah. I mean, you could probably put them on 40s if you can go to the NCAA 24 game. I think one's got better speed than the other. I don't know how to predict that, but they both run pretty darn good. It's not like there's some drop back quarterback that isn't going to be able to be mobile enough. So they both move well.
You have lots of awards, but no awards in front of Rashad Battle. What did he do well?
I don't know. Maybe we missed an or there. Rashad Battle has done a nice job. I mean, I think, Ryland, and you can almost say Taman, same thing, and Rashad might be the top 3 right now. So, you could probably put another or there if you wanted to. I just got bored writing ors on EJ's sheet and Mike's sheet. But Taman's, between Ryland, Taman, and Rashad, those to me right now at this point would be those 3 guys that are going to get the majority of those reps. And we'll kind of see how it goes. But I've been impressed with Rashad. He's a senior, and he's been through a battle okay, through his career here at Pitt. I'm excited that he's stayed healthy and excited to see him play.
Rodney's obviously played a lot of snaps for you. What has Desmond shown to have that over there at the running back position?
Yeah, I mean, Desmond, and I probably said this, pre-practice, just Desmond's got a little gear. And he's tough, and like I said, he's I think he sits behind the podium and is kind of like this, looking at the guys when he got a chance to sit up here and talk. And matter of fact, I think the guys messed with him a little bit and said, "Hey, stand up," but because we have a lot of fun in here. Desmond is a tough son of a gun. Let me just tell you, and he's fast. He's got burst. He's not as big as Izzy was in the past, but he's got one of those. He's got that breakaway speed that if you give him a hole, he can take it to the house. So that's what. And again, he can catch the ball to the backfield. He's very versatile.
Has that familiarity with the offense kind of helped him, you think, too, as well?
I think so. I think he wouldn't tell you that because he doesn't say anything. It's like I try to get him to talk a little. He just smiles, and you gotta love that about him.
You didn't list your quarterbacks alphabetically, even if there's an order there. I was curious why not.
Because I've struggled with the alphabet, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
You said Eli made big strides.
Is everything else alphabetical in here or-wise? I have no idea.
You said Eli made big strides to close that gap with Nate. What specifically have you seen from him during camp to kind of
probably wasn't as fair, maybe in spring ball. He had a little bit of a hammy. I mean, I think he dealt with the hammy going in, hamstring injury going into, spring ball and out of spring ball. And just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't put a finger on it. I mean, just the time, I guess, that he had in the offense in the summer. Obviously, he did a great job in the summer and spending time in the classroom and just, learning it. So I couldn't put my finger on exactly why, but he's made some strides, that's for sure.
Why don't you speak a little bit to what you've gotten to know about Cade over the 8 months since you hired him and gotten to know him with him?
What was the question?
What have you gotten to know about Cade since you hired him and since he got here?
Gosh, you learn every day. You want the good or the bad? Just kidding. Both, I'm sure you do. No, Cade's, he's enthusiastic. He coaches the same way every day. He's consistent. I can't say he's anything but a ball coach, a coach's kid. Love everything about him right now. I mean, we'll find out when games come, but he's a ball coach. He's into it. He's got great plans. I like the way he game plans. That's something that comes up new. I mean, there's something, every day there's something maybe new that you learn about him. And I can't go through the list, but like just watching the way he game plans different than other guys, that I've been around throughout the years. That's about it, all I can tell you.
Pat, in my years of covering you, I don't think I've seen freshmen get one of those starting boards like Francis Brewery did at a position like that. What has he done to show that he's at the level of guys that you're very familiar with, like the guy?
Yeah, Francis started off a little bit robotic, but he's a pleaser. When you talk about 4-3 and he's a guy that's just trying to do exactly what Coach Dowse or we want him to do every play. And if you tell him to stay in his A gap, stay in his A gap. I mean, he's really consistent with his footwork and doing what he's supposed to do. He's probably the hardest transition was just trying to teach him how to run to the ball. He, play the run and turn around and look like this for a while and see where the ball's going. But he's improved there. But he just attacks his gap and he's where he's supposed to be, and that's half the battle sometimes. Some guys want to swim around gaps and try to, ad lib. He's a dude that just consistently every day you go, I trust that guy that when we put him out there and we say do this, he's going to do it. That's why he is where he is. And the other thing that separates him a little bit is he's strong. When he puts his hands on you, I'll tell you, the first day we went scout team, I don't know if I told you this already, first day we went scout team, he's on the scout field because every freshman, regardless of what your position is, goes to the scout team. And he's over there. I heard some of the old linemen say, well, he ain't going to be here long, Coach. It's kind of like, they know. I mean, that's what you want. When guys know who that guy is, that's what you want.
By the way, your D tackles aren't alphabetical. You're going to need all 5 of them on a hot day, aren't you?
We're going to need 6 or 7 of them. I'd like to play them all. Again, again, practice is practice, guys. It's hard, and I'm sure it's the same way next door. It's hard to tell, like who those guys are until you. I mean, that's why I wish we had scrimmages. I mean, I could give you, there may be less oars on there if you get in a game and you don't get it done. I mean, maybe there's less oars, week 2, but until you have that opportunity to do it in a real game and not in a scrimmage and in front of people when the lights go on, I think it's critical.
What did Jimmy Scott do to separate himself as a starter?
He grew up a lot from spring ball. Jimmy's been solid, and Again, he's separated himself, but let me tell you, Chief is right there too. I mean, I could put another damn oar there, right? I mean, I really could, and going to the other end, Sincere, a little bit banged up during camp, but Sincere's another guy. Like I'm excited to see all those guys, and that's a good thing. If there wasn't many oars on here, it means we don't think we have many guys that can play for us. And again, in 2 weeks, I may say that, hey, there's less oars, and gosh, I was wrong, and again, that's what we're going to find because camp is over, right? I mean, when the season starts and you get an opponent, you find out really where you are.
He told us at media day that he doesn't script plays in practice. How much do you think that's helped the two quarterbacks take command of the offense?
You know what? It's a great question, Amanda. I don't know how it helps him take command. I just know he's never scripted a play. That's something I've learned. Go back to your question, like something like never script a play. Like, hey, can we script this? No, like he just calls it. I love it. When I was at Michigan State in the last few years here, I'd have a call it period. Sometimes last year I'd say, hey, it's a call it period, and we'd have we're like this reading stuff off of a piece of paper. So the call it period is about as realistic as you can get. It means you're doing it, and you know what? It's made Coach Bates better because he's got to call it every day, and he doesn't have he's got to call it. He doesn't know what the heck the play is. I think it makes for fun practice. It goes fast. I like scripts personally. I'm old school. I like scripts, but it's something I've had to get used to. It's like really, I don't know what I would have done if I was a D coordinator. I might not like it as much. I'd like to know what I'm getting and get a defense versus an offense and all that. But it is I don't know if it's helping the quarterbacks. They just know like we're going and they can operate at any speed and they can operate with regardless of what the call is. That's their job, is to know everything. No, go ahead, finish up, Amanda.
I know you're in the midst of game planning, but you're heading into your 10th season here at Pitt. It's a milestone, and you're one of the longest tenured head coaches here, one of the winningest. Have you had any time to reflect on that? Nah,
not really. I'm worried about winning a football game. The only thing that matters is next Saturday. What we did in the past doesn't matter. Where the future goes doesn't matter. It's where are we today, and I'm just worried about Ken. It ain't about me. It's about these seniors in the front row. It's about our captains and this football team. As honest as you can be. Who had that?
Sorry, Matt. Outside of Brandon and Key, you have a lot of youth at linebacker. Feel like you've got some young guys that are going to step up and make some plays.
Yeah, I do. Kyle Lewis has played a ton of football. Biles has played he's played a lot of football. Jordan Bass would probably be the youngest one in that group of 6 guys that you see on the depth chart there. And we have some guys after that probably should put on the depth chart, but we feel good with those 6 linebackers right there. And Jordan will be the youngest of the ones in there. Kyle Lewis has played a lot of football. He's aggressive. He's physical. Biles is a dude. We know Lovelace. I mean, all those guys can play.
What do you know about those 2 Kent State running backs, Thomas and Garcia?
Both good players. I mean, obviously, the transfer from Minnesota, the starter, is a good player. He was the MVP of a bowl game when he was at Minnesota. Coach Burns, that's his guy, right? I mean, he's going to get the rock. He's going to get a chance to run the football. He coached him at Minnesota, and now he's at Kent State. So both good football players that we're going to have to stop the run. Stopping the run will be key.
You listed Kenny Johnson as a starter. What did he show during the summer to improve from what you saw from last year?
Kenny's had an up and down, I'd say, fall camp. So we're looking to, again, as a lot of guys, especially at the receiver position, were banged up during the summer. Kenny's back and feeling good, and he has been for the last several days. So we're excited to see him back at full speed and playing Kenny ball. But Kenny's mature. The offense fits him, and he's an explosive guy that can make plays. Anybody else? No, then Mike, EJ's not here, so we can cheat on EJ.
I do have one more, Pat, since I haven't been around. You got a lot of guys on this offense that were recruited under, you guys were playing a different style.
Yep.
And I mean, it appears, at least judging by what I saw during the spring, this is pretty different. Do you have to allow for some breaking in process here, or do you expect K to, hey man, we're snapping at 10 seconds until they get it?
Yeah, it's a great question again. Well, I would say this: we're going to find out, but that's what the whole 292 days since January, whatever it is, since January 8th when we sat in this room here and talked, is to get them on that tempo, and listen to Coach Bell every day talk about it because it's new to me. Just the operation. Our operation is getting better. Like our operation right now with the guys that haven't been in this system and didn't get recruited into this system is so much better than it was when we ended spring ball. So the operation, getting lined up, doing all those things is better. Is it good enough? We'll find out. Like, if guys are moving and not set and the quarterback snaps the ball and we got a legal procedure, it's gonna annoy the hell out of me. But like our operation keeps getting better. These guys that were in a different offenses, half of them played in that type of offense, or 3/4 of them, or maybe 100% of them played in similar offenses in high schools. They love all these one-word calls, that tell you what formation to line up in, what play to go, and it's just like that's kind of we see it every week, whoever we play. So I think they're used to it. And I think it shouldn't be a problem. Anything else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you.